Hey there, it's Pete over at the Sampleist, and today we are checking out Abbey Road Orchestra first violins from Spitfire Audio. The first violins library contains an ensemble of 16 violins, and it's recorded in the legendary Abbey Road One studio by the equally legendary Simon Rhoades. The library comes in two formats. We have the core version, which has 11,000 samples and it downloads at 3.9 gigabytes, and this contains your bread and butter articulations. There is one Simon Rhoades mix in the core version. The Pro version takes everything to the next level and it's all about the detail. So there are 196,000 samples, and this one downloads at 85.5 gigabytes. There are extended legato techniques and there are 16 mic signals, including 2 Simon Rhoades mixes. Both libraries are housed in the Abbey Road Orchestra plugin. Currently, there is a 20% discount during pre-order, which is until the 28th of September. So you can pre-order the professional version for £279 or the core version for £159. And there will also be a promo cross-grade for all Abbey Road Orchestra and Orchestral Foundations product owners, which will be available from the 21st of September until October the 12th. In this video, I'm going to take a look at the instruments, well, the violins contained within all the different articulations, and we're going to focus mainly on the Pro version, but I will show the core version as well so we can compare. And then I've thrown it into a composition, so a little bit of TV underscore just to see how it is to compose with. So I'm very, very excited about this library because it's the Abbey Road Orchestra coming together with the strings and then the brass and the woodwind eventually. So yeah, it's all come together. At this point, I would like to thank Spitfire Audio for sending over a copy of the Abbey Road Orchestra first violins. Of course, we get the library for free, so we can make this video, but it does not influence our thoughts, ideas, or any judgments that we have about the libraries. So let's jump in and just take a look at the Abbey Road Orchestra first violins. And here we have the Abbey Road Orchestra first violins loaded up in the Spitfire Audio plugin. So a little bit of housekeeping to start off with. If you just click at the top, you'll see the other Abbey Road Orchestra libraries if you own them. So you've got high percussion, low percussion, meta percussion, and strings. So on the strings, you have the first violins, and then we've got the first violins core as well. And then you can switch between the Pro and the core at the top as well, which I will do a little bit later in the video. Then you have this toggle here where you just bring up this lower half of the GUI, which has all the articulations. Now, the articulations, the first one is the performance legato. It does sound incredible. And in the wheel in the middle, you can adjust the reverb, the release, the tightness, the vibrato. Now the vibrato is full to start off with. I love that legato. So obviously you can automate the vibrato as you're recording, but it's just, yeah, absolutely wonderful sounding library out of the box. Now down the bottom we have our articulation. So that's the performance legato extended, and they've got the lyrical legato. So it's very, very agile, and depending on how you're playing and the dynamics you're using and velocity, it's going to trigger that legato. And then we have the longs. So I'm playing just simple lines and going through different ranges, but I love these longs. They sound incredible. And if you thought that was good, the long flautando, my personal favourite of the long articulations, just again sounds incredible. And the lower range. That's beautiful. And then we've got some shorts. We've got the Spiccatissimo. Spiccato. So it's playing those across the range, really, really simple. So everything just, yeah, sounds great. Staccato. And then we've got marcato. Sounds great. And then we've gone to the next page. Now, we are in the Pro version. You can see there are 4 pages of articulations. Tremolo. So I wasn't too smooth when I changed. I actually sort of fell off my chair a little bit. But it's all about the smoothness between transitions. I'm not using the expression pedal, which if I just find my expression pedal, there it is, and use that as well. A little bit too aggressively there. Yeah, you get the idea. But yeah, sounds brilliant. And let's go for long harmonics. Now, I do like just holding a harmonic. I'm pretty much leaving it there. Now, I'm just thinking. Yeah, so we got a nice room sound. Let's go bring up the reverb a little bit. And the detail, those overtones. They're beautiful. Then we've got pizzicato. So you can hear me really hitting the controller, and you get that amazing snap. So we've got like low velocity, and then brilliant. Yeah, don't want to hurt my controller. Then we've got the Colegno. Just Colegno. And then we've got some trills. We've got a minor second. I love the release. Beautiful. Major second. Then we've got some minor thirds. Then a major third. And let's keep going. It's worth hearing all the articulations, obviously. Tremolo. Whoops. So it's measured, it's timed by BPM. So that's 150 BPM, 180. Beautiful. And then we've got these legato runs. Now, yeah, so I'm trying to play these, and it's the kind of thing, because I want to do it really, really quickly, and I've got to get the legato spot on. If I don't get it spot on, whoops, it's not going to work. So when you're programming these are really, really fluid. And there's a great video, obviously, when Paul Thompson's going through. There's some great examples. But if I try and do... I'm dropping the odd note. Not a big deal. But the legato runs, obviously, are a feature of the Pro version. And they are amazing. They are just so fluid once they're programmed correctly in. They got legato detach or detaché. Okay, so again, if you've seen the walkthrough from Paul Thompson, it's like he does say it's a little bit laggy to play, but when you're programming it, it just is wonderful. And then we've got legato portamento. So I'm going down in octaves there. Yeah, didn't do D to G, but I was playing around. So it seems to be a 1 octave range. Which is pretty incredible. Legato blurred. And then we have legato allegro. Yep, fell off my controller again. Then we've got straight ahead longs. So need the mod wheel for those. I say for those you need the mod wheel for all long string writing. Now, next page. So we're on the performance legato. then we've got the lyrical legato. Sounds amazing. And then we go into the different mixes. So there are 12 different mixes. It is just incredible. Obviously, I always go on about the fact I love the outriggers. So I'm just going to bring them both up. I'm actually going to bring mix 1 down. And let's just add some ambient as well. Now, I did just cut to the next bit while it was loading, because I've got a history of just talking nonsense while I'm waiting for patches to load. Now, if I play this and yeah, so checking mic 1, is it on? So the mix is incredible, and the fact you have all of these different microphone options is also incredible. Now, I'm not going to keep playing lots of different mic positions because they do take a bit of time to load. So when you're composing, it doesn't matter. It takes a little bit of time to load. I'm streaming off an SSD, and to load that mix, it took probably about 25 seconds. However, you'll notice the memory footprint is over 7 gigabytes, and I'm on a computer with 128 gigabytes. And obviously, after however many instances, which I wouldn't use, 12 instances of violins, but it is a big footprint. Now, what can you do to change that? Well, we're in the Pro version, and the Pro version obviously has sort of 3 and a bit pages of articulations. So if you click on the little pencil, you can just remove the articulations you don't want to use. And it will take a moment for my computer to catch up, but let's just quickly do the I'm going to do the lyrical legato, why not? So I was going to add that, so we have 1 articulation, and when I click save, it's going to go lower than 6.59, he says. I feel like we need a drum roll. And there we go. So it's still using the mic mix that I just chose. Outriggers 1, 2, and ambient, and it's 1.46 gigabytes. And it sounds beautiful. Now, if I just turn those mixes off, and I'm going to play the second Simon Rhoades mix, just so we can hear it in context. And that one is just over a gigabyte. Sorry, as I was going for it, you may have noticed the pitch bend went, but the pitches don't bend, which is very handy because I do knock that a few times. A little bit dramatic there. So the mixes sound incredible. However, if you're on a laptop, so my traveling laptop is 32 gigabytes and of RAM, so I might decide I'm going to go for the core version. Now I'm just going to load up the core version from scratch. And there we go. So we can actually see the articulations you get in the core version. Now, there's no mixer page because you get the 1 Simon Rhoades mix, which sounds brilliant. Yeah, I went a little bit Revenge of the Nerds there. And you get performance legato, lyrical legato, get longs. Sound great. Long flautando, spicatissimo, spiccato, staccato, marcato, tremolo, long harmonics, pizzicato, col legno, trills, and the articulations go on. So there are extended legato techniques in the Pro version, but you get everything you need in the core version. So when we talk about comparing, obviously there's a price comparison, but there's also a memory footprint comparison, an articulation comparison, a mix comparison. But I've got to say, the core version, I would happily just compose using the core version. I love the detail and the options in the Pro version. But yeah, I just think both versions are brilliant, and it's great to have a choice of a slightly more reduced version of the library, which still sounds fantastic and detailed and has all these articulations, or you got the control of the Pro version. So very, very cool. Now, that is pretty much it for the library. So we've got articulations. Obviously, we do the effects page as well. So if you click on the wheel in the middle, you have the same effects. So reverb, release, tightness, and obviously it's grayed out now, but vibrato and legato offset. So really, really simple to use. So what we're going to do is check out the composition, and I went for a little bit of television style underscore, tried to be a bit lyrical with the legato, and I did use probably more violins than I would normally. So it's a little bit imbalanced, but I wanted to just show off the library because that's what this video is all about. So without further ado, let's check out the composition. Let's talk composition. Now, you can see on the left-hand side, I've used 6 Abbey Road Orchestra first violin tracks, and normally I wouldn't use this many, but I wanted to show off how they sound when they're combined, when there's different articulations, and of course, when they are on their own. And then I'm using some of my staples from Spitfire. So we've got the Olafur piano, we've got the Olafur kalimba, Eric Whittaker choir, and then Abbey Road One. So I've used the sparkling woods, legendary low strings, the low strings, and the horns, because I wanted to see how, obviously being recorded in the same space, how they would all fit together. And of course, Abbey Road One doesn't have legato high strings. So now with Abbey Road Orchestra, picking up these first violins will actually fill that gap, as it were. And I think they work really, really well together. And then I've got my classics. We've got the Easter Island, which I use Albion 1 for those hits, Hans Zimmer Timpani Roll, the gong from Albion 1, and hammers playing a very low pass surdo. Now, if I just start off with the intro, with the violins, and then the tremolo and harmonics come in, and it just creates this wonderful texture. And there we go. The end of that section crescendos with a minor third trill as well. So it has that really thick, dense sound. Now, if I was to add the piano part only, it is very lush and very expressive. And then, if we just introduce the Abbey Road Orchestra, the Abbey Road One, just to get an idea of the thickness of the sound. Just going to stop it there. Now, interestingly, if I just jump on, let's say, this performance legato, and I go to modulation, you can see I'm being very generous with the modulation. And normally I would use expression as well. And just before I recorded the demo for the purpose of the video, my expression pedal decided just to constantly send different values to Cubase. So when I recorded all these parts, the expression had gone, and I use both. And it's a bit of a shame because obviously I programmed it in and then it all got written over. It sounds a bit like a sob story, but it really isn't. But if you want to control your expression, and your volume with your modulation as well. If I just take this line, I'm doing this very, very quickly. It kind of doesn't make sense. It does a little bit. Let's just and then died out. So if I play this now, it should sound a little more human in terms of the programming. And then, of course, there's times where I didn't always want the legato triggered, so that's why I haven't. But generally, to get a more even sound, you would use a combination of expression and modulation. But anyway, I ordered a new expression pedal and it came, but it is very close to the end of the pre-order time, and I wanted to get this video out so you could hear what they sounded like. But anyway, I am digressing. The flautando is just superb. It is absolutely beautiful. Now, from a programming point of view, I also put 120 milliseconds negative delay. I don't know for a fact that's what it is, but to my ears, that kind of is what it sounded like would fit. So, yeah, you can take that or leave it as you want. It's just what I thought worked for me, because when I play everything in context, it does feel like that everything's together. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. Let's move on to the next part. Now, I've gone for the lyrical legato extended, and if I just play that, actually it is just on its own pretty much with the piano. I just think it sounds fantastic when it's isolated. And of course, I bring in the flautando line and just a tremolo, just holding it. Brilliant. And then there's some kind of little rundown, and we repeat the melody, but I've harmonized the melody in the next section. Just see it again what it sounds like. And there is obviously, because they're playing in this similar sort of range, I just wanted to make sure the harmonies just kind of worked. So just going to play those sections together. Obviously I want them to work. And they are agile. I did notice, I was going to play that section again, because I'm always quite happy to be fairly critical of my own programming. And this is an instance where I changed. So you can actually hear the top violin is doing something different. Yeah, so I would actually change. That's just dodgy writing on my part, sorry. Just fixing that up there. Then in context, and now there's some crazy legato going on. So yeah, I would come back to that and just fix that. But it sounds amazing, and they're really easy to work with. Bear in mind, we don't ever have a huge amount of time to put these together. So this was about 45 minutes. Absolutely loving these strings. So if I was bringing the next section, we've got a tremolo as joined, and we've got the low strings and the woodwinds underneath, and the piano, and obviously hammers is going. And then for the next section, the only difference really between the sort of first time you hear this section is I've added a choir and I have added hammers. And that's pretty much it, because as my old music teacher always said, if you write something and you like it, repeat it with a slight variation. And then it comes to an ominous end. Straightforward composition, but the strings, using obviously these longs and creating these textures, I just think they sound absolutely incredible. And they're really, really easy to work with. As ever, I have some closing thoughts about the Abbey Road Orchestra first violins, and it's all about the detail. So I'm not just talking about the vast range of articulations and the different mic mixing, I'm talking about the level of sampling. Yes, it is a big library in terms of hard drive real estate, but the samples contained within are just incredible. You've got the room sound, and of course you've got the nuance of the players, you've got the character, it's all there. And Spitfire audio string libraries, they all serve a different purpose for me. So I use the symphonic range, obviously when I'm doing big productions, and I blend those with the Hans Zimmer strings for the cinematic smudge. If I want more detail, I use the chamber strings, or not so much detail but a smaller section, I use the studio strings. If I want that flowing legato, I go over Passionata, and then of course you've got the solo string libraries, and of course Abbey Road 2. And they all serve different purposes, and I feel the first violins from Abbey Road Orchestra also have their own character and identity, and they will serve a purpose. Now, when you combine them with Abbey Road 1, you then suddenly have the high legato. So it's not just a high string section legato, it is specifically the first violins, and of course that's going to get added to over time, but they effortlessly blend together. Obviously they're recorded in the same room, but it just works really, really well. It gels, but again, the violins just stand out because there is so much detail there. So do I recommend them? Of course I recommend them. I think if you own Abbey Road 1, it is for me a no-brainer because it fills that high legato gap. If you just want a gorgeous sounding string section, well, get these, and then when the violas come out, actually the cello, yeah, maybe cello next, viola, bass, whatever happens, it's just gonna combine to this amazing sound, and I can't wait. So yep, get them. There's lots of different cross-grade options and loyalty options, and of course if you are an educator until Halloween you can get 40% off. Just pick them up if you want gorgeous sounding strings. All that leaves me to say is, once again, thank you so much to Spitfire Audio for sending over a copy of the Abbey Road Orchestra first violin so we could make this video. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a like on the video, and of course drop us a comment. What do you like about the strings? How are you going to use them? How are you going to blend them with Abbey Road 1 maybe? Or just use them in your compositions just generally. If you're not done so already, please check out our other videos. We've got plenty of content out there, and of course please subscribe to our channel. We're absolutely over the moon when we hit over 1,000 subscribers. That was our first milestone, and we've had loads of cool things like giveaways, and yeah, it's just been brilliant. But it's all down to the composer community. So keep clicking likes, keep subscribing. Well, you can only subscribe once, but keep checking out our videos. Until next time, have a great day, and just keep making that beautiful music.